Unfortunately, during the first game, EDG had to make an emergency substitution before the game started, and they did bring Scout in as their mid laner, and as such lost all 3 bans for their first match, and they're still going to be continuing with Scout in the mid lane in the second game against Invictus Gaming, who have brought back Tatai, and they now have bans on Summoner's Rift as Gragas and Malzahar will be the first 2 bans that come out of EDG. Flip side, Invictus Gaming are looking for Sivir and Vladimir as their first 2 bans.
Yeah, so this time around, Rookie will not get his hands on that overtuned champion.
On top of that, EDG decides to ban out Braum, a champion they are very fond of first picking or banning away from teams, and Maokai's the final ban from IG.
Yeah, which is very peculiar, so now it's a question of what is the priority pick for EDG, and it looks like it's going to be Mouse's Gangplank.
Mouse should be taking Gangplank up to the top side of the map. No point in this game, which means it should not be Scout playing it, but definitely has the potential to do so.
Does also mean that Zatai, a very heavy Gangplank player himself, should have the perfect counter in his pocket to deal with it. And I assumed that it was going to be Fiora.
The kid locks in his Hecarim to start things off, a champion that is very popular in the LPL and has not seen much play, in fact, no play tonight.
See, this is classic Invictus Gaming, though, is that they already have the Hecarim. So theoretically, they should lock in the Shin, I was going to say, and they were still hovering for Fiora. This makes much more sense. You've got the Shin-Hecarim combo. Everyone knows how this works. Hecarim runs at you, Shin hops on for the ride. Look at my horse. Isn't he amazing?
He is absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, they do not have the Malzahar to combat with the combo. Normally one of the 3-piece components that they use in this match, or an Ashe, which still has the potential to be picked up by Invictus Gaming's Marge. He kind of knows how that one works, I think.
EDG also do like to use Skarner as a counter to Hecarim.
Goodness.
For when Hecarim flies into the team fight, Skarner just grabs him in the ultimate and drags him out.
Club's very vocal about how that Skarner is great. He's talked about it quite a few times. There are a couple of Mako fans in the crowd. I mean, he hits all his Winter's Bites. I don't see why you wouldn't be a fan of Mako, as Rek'Sai is going to be locked in as the jungler of choice for EDG. Thresh is going to be his support champion of choice.
And we talked about how the true successor to Wei Xiao was Clear Love in the end, especially picking up that age-old mentality and strategy of the slow push. Rek'Sai is actually a jungler who's empowered to do that. Her cross-map play available to her if she sets up the correct neural network for her tunnels, offering her the ability to look for that Tiamat and to truly be a split push pressure.
For now, that really looks like Invictus Gaming are just picking according to their roles, something we see quite a lot done on the red side. LGD started this one off. Deciding to lock in the champions as fast as they possibly can get them, but still waiting to see what their next 2 picks will be.
There's really no reason to pick up the mid laner here. This would just be absolute confidence from Rookie. You do see Coach Chris standing behind IG, and this makes much more sense. You're on red side, counter pick for your best player.
And they do exactly that, as they do lock in Taric as their support of choice, and Jin will be their AD carry for this match.
So I know Taric has much more popularity globally, especially in Korea. In LPL, not so much. Not at all. He has not had a great track record. He is not used very well. Big issue is communicating with this champion and being on the same page. Theoretically, Taric should roll through the LPL. This is a champion that's set up for premeditated dives. You know a dive's coming up, you hit your invincible ultimate, and you run in. In practice, not so much. And I think it's because LPL teams really rely on reactive gameplay, and with the cooldown window of activating the ultimate and then waiting for it to pop, that's where issues really arise.
Still, we have Invictus Gaming holding their mid lane pick for last. As we're still waiting to see what Def's going to be picking up heading into this game. Could possibly be another Ashe game for him here.
Would certainly make sense because Sivir was still banned and Jhin taken away.
And they're going to be bringing Talia into the mid lane for EDG, a champion that since release has seen quite a bit of resurgence in competitive play.
Now, I do apologize. It's very hard for me to get used to saying Talia's name correctly. I always want to go for the Talia, but I will work very hard on it. So we've seen Talia banned pretty much permanently in the first series, so this is the first time that she's going to get through on the night.
You know what, Frostcone, it can be Talia if you want it to be, you know. It's okay.
I used to say Sivir, severe. So
that one I actually disagree with. I was a big Talia Namesayer, I still am. I am working hard to say Talia as well, but Severe.
Talia.
Severe is a different story, Froskery.
It makes sense. It's an actual word.
But it's not a name. I've never met someone named Severe.
Oh, I've never met someone named Gangplank.
That's actually pretty fair, but if I knew a pirate, I'm pretty sure his name would be. So you see Citro being locked into the mid lane for Invictus Gaming, another champion that's seen a lot of competitive play in the LPL recently.
Yeah, and kind of interesting that Scout would look towards that Talia when Syndra is available. She's kind of been the go-to, even being priority picked or picked blind in a lot of instances. Even more so, Kog'Maw was also available, but choosing to pick or to stay with that utility AD carry as opposed to the tried and true hyper carry.
And we saw Kog'Maw actually banned out in game number 1 by Invictus Gaming, so they definitely thought that EDG would be picking it up. But instead, we will get the Talia in the mid lane for Scout. Always a refreshing sight to see. But still, Froskery and I have yet to cast an LPL game and see a Talia win a match. I finally watched my first live match and got a victory. That was in the OPL. Now possibly get to cast one and see a Talia win.
Well, to be fair, Rookie is the primary benefactor of Talia picks, and Invictus Gaming have not had the greatest streak.
That is pretty fair. For now, though, he's going to be back onto a Syndra pick, a very aggressive mid lane pick, something refreshing to see out of Rookie. We'll have to see how he takes it against Scout in the mid lane as we head into Summoner's Rift for game number 2 between Invictus Gaming and EDG. Thank you very much, Clear, for bringing us back into this pause here. And that was what I had to do on camera for Spawn. He refused to rip his shirt off like Uzi. I'm still very sad about that one. But we are still waiting to get back into game number 2 between Edward Gaming and Invictus Gaming. Unfortunately, it seems like we have a little bit of a technical difficulty between the two teams here.
So this does give us time to break down the compositions, talk about them a little bit more in depth. So EDG right now are running a semi-global composition is what I'm going to call it. You have Talia, you have Rek'Sai, and you have Gangplank. And this is a great answer in the fact that Hecarim and Shin have been picked up very early in rotation for Invictus Gaming. And so your global map presence is incredibly strong. But it's about making sure that you survive long enough to get those ultimates and use them correctly around the map, which should be in the bottom lane on that Ashe arrow. Well,
hopefully we can see that take place for EDG because Def had a phenomenal game 1 on Ashe. He's going to get the champion again here. Jin's going to be picked up for the 2nd time by Marge. They do have to tie returning to the roster, and this really feels like the roster that Invictus Gaming are really good with, and hopefully we can see a much better performance from them in Game 2.
I do agree with Raz that this is definitely the best iteration of IG, although I think it might be slightly overhyped in that when Zatai did return to this roster, that he was immediately snowballed on Aurelia and just got like 4 kills for free. And so I think that, yes, this is still the strongest version of IG that we'll ever see, but maybe got a little bit overbuffed.
Well, a good game for it to be tested is a game against EDG, the undefeated team in the LPL. We talked about it a lot before this match started, how EDG, they don't like losing games, Froskery. They definitely do not want to lose games against Invictus Gaming either. Which
is why it's also really important to recognize how EDG win and how Invictus Gaming lose. That said, they could theoretically still win this series. We're only 1 game up in it right now. But it's just really important to identify, you know, what kind of compositions. Are EDG giving away their hand going into playoffs? Are Invictus Gaming giving away their hand going into their set against Newbie? Have IG actually cleaned out all of their synergy issues? You know, is Marge a good AD carry replacement? Is Balon fitting into the team as well as we thought he would?
And just a reminder, this is a big grudge match between EDG and Invictus Gaming, but has no impact on the standings. If EDG lose, the only thing that happens is they've lost their first game in the summer split of the LPL.
The only thing that happened. That's a massive only. That is disaster for EDG. Like, that's, again, I cannot emphasize this enough. EDG are the staple, they are the standard, they are the pillar, the dynasty of the LPL right now. Losing a single series is disaster for them. It is that crucial. They do not want to go all this way to lose their chance at a perfect run through a split.
Whereas Invictus Gaming on the flip side, they pick up if they drop their game here, they move down to 4-11. They are still fighting for their playoff spot because Newbie have one final game to play, and that is against Invictus Gaming. Newbie are now 5-10. So even if IG drop a game here, all they have to do is beat Newbie because currently they have one more matches than Newbie has.
Which means that it comes down to that last game on that last day of the LPL. It's actually coming down to the very wire, Fish.
And it seems like the story of this entire week, as we even saw LGD take it to one of their last games as well. Unfortunately, their playoff dream is dead at the moment, with Vici securing that final spot in Group B. But we are back onto Summoner's Rift for game number 2, between EDG and IG. EDG already able to pick up the first win. So, you know, we got to see Clearlove introduce us back into the pause, but this game is going to be on his Rek'Sai. He's going to be able to put up a lot of pressure on the map.
So what's really important is that he's on Rek'Sai on blue side, and that Deft and Mako are on two range champions that have pushing potential on Jhin and Taric. So what that means is Clearlove should go a quick jungle clear, and then Deft and Thresh should have Marge and Baolan pushed in for a very clean gank above Gromp and tunneled in behind these two.
That is the best animation ever for
Jin's
Baolan.
back.
No, Baolan, you know, posing for the camera as Taric. It's
Oh.
pretty cool.
I like Taric, but he just has not had the success rate in the LPL that he has in other global regions, Korea in particular. We'll see if Baolan fares a bit better on this champion, because Mata's tried his hand and it was also disaster.
Just remember, Frosco and Ruby is for Vigor as we head into the laning phase between the two teams. EDG and Invictus Gaming both not opting for a lane swap in this second match, so we will see the AD carries and support start on a camp at level 1. No disruption this time round. They will head into standard lanes.
This is an early cheese being set up, however, by Kid, possibly looking for a level 2 gank up on Gangplank.
Let's see if we can get this one off. Does have the red buff available on the Hecarim as well as his Ghost. Mouse is playing a little bit passive for now. Moves up to get Parlay on towards minions and is not opting the last hit.
The go button is Shen getting level 2 to see if he can have his taunt.
But Marge is being flayed backwards here. The other Thunderlord proc. He's going to get taken down really low. Mako moving aggressively forward, getting lots of auto attacks down. Even in the mid lane, Rookie has been chunked out by Scout on the Talia. And Kid doesn't even get the gank on the top lane.
But again, Deft and Mako going hyper aggressive in their 2v2, looking for an early or a level 2 kill. They've done this 3 series in a row now.
Styling on people in the bottom lane. Mako looks fantastic when he's on Thresh. Deft looks fantastic at all of his AD carries as well.
Does mean that they can become telegraphed, though. Again, looking into playoffs, if I'm facing across from EDG, I'm saying Mako and Deft are going aggressive level 2. Cheese gank.
Whereas Invictus Gaming, we saw Kid try to go for the gank up in the top side of the map very early on. Now that means Clearlove has moved all the way down to the bottom side and is looking to try and take blue buff away from the Hecarim. Kid responds to it quite nicely, moves straight towards Clearlove's blue buff.
Yep, so we talked about how Clearlove being Rek'Sai on blue side should mean that he'll pay a lot of attention to that bot lane. Look for this gank.
That is scary. Marge is level 2 and so far away. Scout actually being really aggressive towards Mystic. As they're now in the bottom lane, Marge gets jumped on. First blood for Deft. There's no Mystic in this game, Frostgroom, but there's always a first blood onto Deft.
But it's telegraphed. You know EDG are going to do this. You know they camp their bottom lane. You know Clearlove is sitting in Deft's pocket. It's blue side Rek'Sai. He's going to clear his jungle as quickly as he can, pick up red buff because he doesn't need blue. It's not important on her as a jungler. And he's going to gank through behind your tower.
And already Frostgroom, we already see that CS lead being established by Deft. He's 20 CS up over Marge, but only 4 minutes into the game. Even Rookie's struggling in this mid lane as well. He's 10 CS behind Scout. Then they lane swap. I think that's the only thing you could really do right now.
They could potentially...
Kid gets parlayed. The Gromp gets stolen. He's trying to ghost away. He's about 10 health away from death there. As Satai tries to do what he can to go toe-to-toe against Mouse, but he's the true victor right here after taking down the Gromp.
You can take my Grom, but you can't take my Spirit Fish. He does manage to get out. Just disaster, though.
It certainly is, and now they're going to be rotating Marge up towards the top side of the map. Satai's still up here. They're going for that lane swap.
trying to force this creep wave in to reset the tower. We'll see if Satai hangs around with them and they actually apply pressure onto the turret, which I think they're forced to now simply because Deft and Mako managed to get the bottom outer.
Big seismic shove comes out from Scout. They're able to knock Rookie in towards the rocks. He's been clearing this mid lane quite effectively here, about 15 CS up over to Syndra. RNG is definitely on EDG's side here as they take down the Infernal Dragon after taking down the bottom lane turret.
Every dragon they approach is either Infernal or Mountain this series so far, so I have to agree with you there, but they're perfectly fine making that trade for the outer top.
Rookie, you just saw them take down the dragon. Be careful, my friend, because Mako and Clearlove are waiting for you. Scout is incredibly alone. The gank does get diffused by the health bar of EDG's mid laner.
Rookie feeling very confident that A, he's close to level 6, and B, he has both his summoners available in Ghost and Flash.
The Scout does get his back cancelled as well as the Syndra steps up to try and stop it. So I'm going to be able to get back to base a little bit slower, but Rookie will be able to use that time to shove this one in towards the Talia's turret.
And now we've swapped EDG's duo towards the top side of the map. There's no reason to be on bot side. They took a very early dragon, which means we will have an opportunity to have 4 or 5 drakes spawn.
And they don't get the top lane turret, Frostgren, so free turret comes over for EDG here. Just from going into standard lanes, already gives them a 2,000 gold lead, and we are barely into the second match.
And Marge forcing Zatai to take the bullet for the team because they're swapping back down to the duo to the bottom side of the map. So that's going to be Shin up in the 2v1 scenario.
We saw Snake flex their muscles against Saints in that game 1 and 3 of their series. EDG is showing them right now how to do it in the first 2 matches of a best-of-3 series. It's already Deft looking so strong on the top lane. 25 CS up ahead of Marge very early into the match.
And what's scary is that Talia has her ultimate available. Deft is level 5, about to get his ultimate available. You know that there's a giant target on Zatai's back. Gank the teleport because then you know no one is coming to save him.
And immediately Invictus Gaming opt to swap away from the AD carry and support once again, which means Mako, Deft, as well as Clearlove, they choose to bring him towards the top side of the map, can look to push down the top lane turret again and pick up 2 turrets in advantage over Invictus Gaming.
ADG need to be a bit careful. They're a bit overzealous on the timing of this. Deft is only about halfway to level 6, so he's probably another wave coming in. So still level 5 on that Ashe.
But the turret will fall down here, so Deft picks that one up for his team with the help of Mako. Just 2-on-2 on the top side of the map. There is a big wave that will crash on towards EDG's bottom lane turret. Mouse is heading down there, still has his cannon barrage, so this is a 2-for-0 turret train in favor of EDG.
And Ashe and Thresh are going to reset their position, walk down, and hopefully pick up the incoming creep wave, although I think Mouse is going to take that away from them. We'll see if he's a nice guy and holds it. Nope, it's his.
That is Mouse's wave there. He pops down a couple of barrels there, trying to get as many as possible with the extra parlay gold. Will miss a cannon creep. A little bit tilting from him, but still stops this turret from taking any damage at all. Fantastic start for EDG. Deft is still level 5 though, waiting for that level 6 like you mentioned. Once he hits it, Disaster is just going to strike on Summoner's Rift.
This will be in this wave right now, so again about 75%, but the big thing is the itemization difference. BF Sword and upgraded boots to a no boot Cole Doran's longsword gen.
Same story as that first match here by EDG. 3,000 gold ahead of Invictus Gaming to start this game off with only a single kill, but it's their turret pressure that has really got them into this game.
Invictus Gaming, though, trying to contest for this.
Looking to try and collapse onto Clearlove, takes a lot of damage. IG used the ultimates. There's the Gangplank ultimate as well. Talia separates the team, but it will be Mako that falls. Deft gets exhausted. He's still alive somehow. Jim will have to flash over the wall to pick up the first kill in the fight. Tatai takes down Clearlove. Invictus Gaming turn on the heat as they pick up 2 kills.
And like in the top side of the map, IG are just slightly overzealous as Tarek and Hecarim will chase down Talia.
And they're still chasing down Scout. Flashes away, but still gets locked down by the deadly flourish coming out from Jin. They're going to try and tower dive him, but the exhaust onto Kid's going to get him locked down. Def is looking for a return kill. Scout will get taken down by the Ninja, but it will be Hecarim gets taken down by EDG's Deft.
And Invictus Gaming limp away by taking the team fight. The big difference is the fact that Shin was there. All 5 members of Invictus Gaming set up a beautiful trap for EDG, and Gangplank was not.
He found Zatai. He doesn't get the knock-up as he was Rek'Sai there. Still forces him to stop heading back to base and does a little bit of counter-jungling for himself.
When all is said and done, though, Invictus Gaming really only pick up pocket gold, as well as secure their blue buff. but EDG still in control and tempo of the map.
They do stop the bleeding for Marge, though, which is a big thing as well. He's now only 10 CS behind Deft and picked up a kill for himself. Deft, though, is 2-0-0 with 71 CS.
And also a big problem is that with Talia, even though she's not a double teleport user, because of her ultimate, she has a lot of safety to play these side lanes. And the lane assignments right now is that she has kill threat on Jhin. So with Scout being down in this bottom side, Marge is forced to go mid lane, and he's not great at wave clear, which means that EDG will continue to chip and siege away at this tower. It has to be Syndra there to keep that standing.
Well, gold has changed slightly as EDG are now only 2,700 gold ahead of Invictus Gaming, and only is an understatement because it's still very early into this match, still looking very strong here. Invictus Gaming have at least been a little bit more proactive in trying to get back into the game.
If I'm EDG right now, I'm going to throw an arrow up mid lane. I'm going to instantly kill that Jhin, and I'm going to take mid tower. But I think EDG really want the rookie rug.
Well, let's see if they are you, Frostgirl, because Deft is waiting for that arrow.
There
Mako is following as well. Marge puts on his blue suede shoes and is able to sidestep that one.
Just smelled that as it went past. Just he could taste it. Just
it was a little bit chilly.
A little bit off the ear. But what that means is that the play has now dropped for EDG, and their counterplay bottom.
Straight on top of Scout here. He's trying to kite back and forth against Kid. One more turret shot would do it. But Kid lives to tell the tale. Rookie, though, not in the same situation. A Prey Seeker would be all it takes to take him down. Curticol's coming out. EDG being a little bit aggressive here. Good Flay stops the taunt coming out from Tatai, but it will be Rookie that picks up a kill onto Clearlove. Tatai's been locked down by these Deft centers that came out from Mako. Deft doing what he can. Tatai will fall. Mako picks up that kill, but it's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of IG.
And again, Invictus Gaming limp away with blinking health bars on multiple members. That's back-to-back execution errors from EDG and just raw mechanics, missing the arrow in the mid lane to fizz out that play on mid tower and then failing the counter dive on bot side.
So kills definitely in EDG's favor. In IG's favor, but map play in favor of EDG here. As now Deft getting jumped on by 3 members. Will get taunted up, but Marge is the first to fall in the fight. They finally take down Mako, but that's not the target they're looking for. Tatai is the one that's in trouble now. EDG get a team fight going in their favor.
Welcome back to the game, EDG. It's been a little bit, but there we go. There's the execution that we expected, the premier team in the LPL. Mako hitting the key and core skill shots and setting that play up beautifully for his team.
And it's Clearlove that picks up the triple kill as well, as securing the Ocean Dragon for his team, and it's going to be another Infernal Dragon that spawns for Edward Gaming and Invictus Gaming.
So now, most important objective on the map is again going to be that outer mid tower. We're looking at the arrow cooldown, which is up and available for Deft. He's resetting his position, getting his buy-in. He should be shooting that straight up mid lane and trying to break the structure.
Let's see if he does just that. The structure has taken a little bit of damage in this mid lane after Scout being very relentless with his pressure very early on into the match. Deft is walking straight down mid lane, does have his Enchanted Crystal Arrow available, and Scout and Mako are waiting patiently.
Marge does not have flash.
But he has put on his blue suede shoes before, and he's going to miss the Deadly Flourish coming out from Jhin, which means he is vulnerable. He doesn't know they're there. The pink ward has denied vision. He is playing so cautiously. He's even pulled Tarek down here. There's the arrow.
That's what I'm saying. I know that we had the highlight of him hitting all the arrows, but Deft also does that quite a bit.
They set that up so nicely for Oscar, and I was counting on him. He's let me down twice now.
I've made that call twice for him, and he's let me down.
I chose to trust him. I chose to give him the benefit of the doubt twice. He was setting me up for play-by-play success, and just crushed me, threw me under the bus, left me out for the wolves.
Sometimes you just have to expect disappointment, Fish. You serenade them, you raise them, you create their storylines, and they just miss the arrow.
Hey, since I've been here, everyone tells me do not expect disappointment from EDG. They have disappointed me. From an Ash arrow.
Welcome to LGD fans.
Meanwhile, we now have Mouse on the bottom side of the map, split pushing here, trying to farm up as many minions as he possibly can. He's slightly ahead of Tatai. He's about 15 minions up. Has picked up his Trinity Force on Gangplank. In the jungle, we can see Clearlove opting to pick up a Tiamat after he gets his Cinderhawk pickup. And
that is the go-to Rek'Sai build. There's kind of 2 different pathways. You can either build a Sightstone, which he's compensated by having the Tracker's Knife, or you go into the Tiamat, which you can reset Rek'Sai's auto attack.
Thank you, Frosco.
You're welcome. More at 11.
Someone get Atlas in here. It's past 11 o'clock. I'm Oscar, I know what you're talking about. It's 11, it's 16 to be exact, so no more news updates from Frosker throughout the rest of this game.
I sit behind Spawn. All I hear about is items. Here we go!
Scout using his ultimate to get to safety.
I was so excited.
Oh, slowed us down again, but he was looking for something. That something was safety in the mid lane turret. He's now 122 CS and 120 of rookies are fairly even in this mid lane. Single kill extra going on over towards the Syndra. Hurricane has been picked up by Deft as well. So still sitting on the BF sword, looking for the crit and the attack speed first.
Doesn't need to look for the battle stats of the Infinity Edge, though, because the Dragon isn't up and available for him to contest. So I like how he's smartly itemizing to push waves in siege structures, but you gotta hit the arrow, and there it is!
Lands it on top of Rookie, who was actually trying to pull the blue buff back. Seismic Shove will knock him back, but Scout's going to be the first to form this fight. Kurtzakol dealing lots of damage to Clearlove. He tries to flash away. EDG are now the ones that are trying to kite backwards. A good barrel deals a chunk of damage to IG, who are just kind of microing back and forth here, not quite decisive at what they want to do, but they still get the single pick onto EDG.
Yeah, but in the end, they win the team fight. Invictus Gaming's composition thrives in choke points like that. The spread of Syndra's hard CC, the ability for Hecarim to run through multiple people, as well as get AoE taunts off. EDG cannot continue to funnel in against IG like that.
There's a teleport in towards the mid lane here. Rookie and Baolan taking a lot of damage from these barrels. The volley even chips them out further. This mid lane turret with 1/3 health left might fall.
It's definitely going down. It's just really Zatai and threatening a taunt here.
And that definitely will be Deft that picks it up as he takes down the mid lane outer turret. Now 3 turrets to none. EDG with a 3,000 gold lead over Invictus Gaming. IG fight back strong every single team fight. They pick up a lot of picks and a lot of great kills onto EDG. But still map control in favor of Edward Gaming.
But it's also about where this gold is being allocated. Majority of it being picked up by Zatai and Hecarim there. It's a very different story if it's Jhin and Syndra who are the primary benefactors of all of this kill gold. Whereas you look across on EDG, yeah, not so great that Clearlove has it, but this guy has a ridiculous KDA. But Deft, T-Bow and 4, healthy spot for Ashe.
On top of that, 3 turrets means gold distributed quite evenly across all their members.
Should also mean by the next time this dragon spawns that Def should clear out maybe this wave, maybe the next one, back and have that big core BF item that he's looking for.
He's pushing down the bottom lane here, trying to get as many minions as he can. And that should signal him heading back to base. Moves into safety to start things off. We'll have to see if that's enough to pick up his Infinity Edge. The rest of the team, you can see Mouse picks up his Serrated Dirk, going to be able to get a Yomu's Ghostblade soon. That's only the pickups coming out for Def there. He picks up the Scrying Orb as well, so not quite the Infinity Edge, but still a little bit more damage as they head in to contest this next dragon, which is the Infernal Drake.
So now the question is, do EDG stall out the Infernal Drake for that big itemization, or do they try to go toe-to-toe and head-to-head with Invictus Gaming?
This time round, Invictus Gaming do have better global support with Tatai on his Shen, means he can use Stand United to get to this team fight if this team needs to. But Mouse is still on gangplank. Cannon Barrage and Teleport available for EDG's top laner.
I think the bigger issue is, again, if EDG get pulled into these tiny little corridors and get run over by IG's composition, they need to be much more diligent about the type of terrain that they're fighting on and around.
Good sweeping coming out from EDG means they can be able to clear out as many wards as possible close towards this dragon pit. As Clearlove actually being caught out, but a good hook lands on towards Baolan. Clearlove taking the bulk of this damage. Baolan using the ult early, only keeping Kid and Baolan invincible. Clearlove runs away. Arrow's going to whiff from Def point blank. And a wall was actually separated a team that came out from Scout there. Suddenly Tatai's into the pit. Def's gonna fall. That's all the damage from EDG gone, but they're still chasing. Mouse is on top of everybody. That's a low rookie. Marge might be the next target. Kid has to try and run away, but Talia is gonna shove the rocks into his face. And even though Def falls, they still get 3 kills on the back of it.
And normally it's the all-star AD carry from EDG that just puts the team on his back and carries them through. But Def not having a great performance on the Ashe this game. On the other hand, Scout on Talia stepping up huge. Was beautiful performance from Victor in Game 1 and has carried over onto this champion in Game 2.
Mouse also looking good in the gangplank, getting some good barrels into the backline there. And even though it was a 2-for-2 trade, it was Kid and Rookie that fell compared to Deft and Maker. Look at the damage done on that team fight.
Well, the beauty about EDG's composition is that they're still able to... Yes, they're fighting in tight corridors and terrain, and that does mean that they have to deal with the massive AoE spread of Invictus Gaming, but it also does empower the Talia wall as well as the Gangplank coverage on Cannon Barrage, which is where majority of that damage is coming from.
It certainly does, and on top of that, like we mentioned just then, it was the jungler and mid laner for Invictus Gaming that fell, which means no smite for IG, and then with that, Clearlove just heads straight towards the Infernal Dragon, takes it up. It's the second Infernal Dragon for EDG. They have another Ocean, and another Infernal Dragon is going to be spawning.
Again, RNG certainly on EDG's favor.
Dragon has spawned as well as we approach 20 minutes into this game. Scout's gone back to base, picked up an Abyssal Scepter for himself, trying to survive some of that burst that comes out from Rookie. Kid was trying to threaten for a gank on towards the Talia, but just shoves back in towards a minion.
Didn't have enough vision to safely dive onto Talia. Likewise, Scout did a good job. Talia's cool because she's one of the few champions that actually does damage as she kites away or chases you. The only other ones really being Ezreal, Callista, and Lucian.
I'm actually looking to try and get a pick on towards Marge here, but there's 3 members of IG
Oh,
chasing
good
them
arrow.
down. Balan going to take a lot of damage. There's the Cannon Barrage. Gets so much damage on towards Invictus Gaming's jungler support. Talia's in the backlines. Marge is in trouble. A Scalp gets another kill. That's 3 big picks for EDG, and they're so healthy they set their eyes straight towards Baron.
And Scout even held the wall up longer than necessary, saying, I got this 1v1.
They get that as well as look to try and take down the Baron. No smite is available for Kid. Clearlove is in this pit with his smite available. No contest actually coming out from Invictus Gaming. And 21 minutes into the game, EDG are 7,000 gold up with a Baron buff.
And EDG continue to say, you know what, it's fine, we'll fight them in tight corridors. They thrive there, but so do we. We have the box, Thresh's ultimate there that we can cut up the terrain of a team fight and choose what side we stand on. We have Talia's wall. We have the Cannon Barrage. We have so many tools to say we're fighting these 3, these 2, this guy over here, and it just beautifully executed the last 3 team fights.
Speaking of Cannon Barrage, Mouse hit a perfect Cannon Barrage in that fight. Kid and Balan took so much damage before they could get the initiation off, and it was IG that were looking for that engagement.
And it's why I always go back to the analogy that this iteration of EDG really looks like 2014 EDG.
Okay.
What they were really famous for is that they were known as Baby Blue after Samsung Blue because they thrived in the big 5v5s, and that was really where they won the game. But it was on the back of playing compositions that separated terrain. A lot of Jarvan, a lot of Nars, Jinx, Nunu, things like that, big AoE abilities. And so you get a very similar flavor and skill with this version of Scout on the team.
Well, with Scout on the team, they're still looking to try and push towards the mid lane here. Mid lane inner turret will fall. EDG get that one down. They're looking for a fight, but the Dark Passage will get cleared up back to safety, and he just tanks up all those Curtain Core shots that looked like they were just trying to clear out the mid lane minions. But still an 8,000 gold lead in favor of EDG, 11-9 in terms of kills. We said that today is going to be a bloodbath, and it has paid off for Oscar, because every single team that has fought tonight, despite the games not impacting the standings of any team, they are out for blood and they're out to prove a point.
I mean, if we're not at Worlds, the LPL teams will never disappoint. They will always give you a good show.
They certainly will, and they'll be doing that here today as EDG are looking to try and secure, or not secure, but look towards having a perfect run. Survive.
Oh, Invictus Gaming are looking to survive. EDG are chasing perfection, yes.
Invictus Gaming still one more game to play later on in the week against a newbie. That will decide their playoff dreams, but for now we have to decide the fate of Mouse, who's getting ganked by Kid. That's so much damage to the Hecarim. He tries to charge in. He even needs to stand united to take down the Pirate, but across the map, EDG have taken down a turret, and suddenly there's a Clearlove into the top lane. He wants to up his KDA. He's looking for kills.
And the rest of the team is running cross map, so Clearlove will also have pressure on another tower.
So already one turret fell in the bottom lane, now getting damage on towards the top lane in a turret as well. EDG have potential to push through the mid lane, as Rookie's going to be the one that's sent up to deal with Clearlove. Doesn't get there in time to save the turret, and now EDG are pushing mid.
And applying pressure points on 3, really. You also have the bottom wave that will be building up and crashing in eventually. I don't think that EDG have enough in the tank this go around to break the inhib line, but they've certainly done a lot of work.
And they certainly have. And with that, they are now 10,000 gold ahead of Invictus Gaming, 24 minutes into the game.
And with another dragon spawning in 47 seconds.
We actually see Deft going for the Infinity Edge build on Ashe this game, something that a lot of Essence Reavers have been doing more of. and it seems like he's going back towards the Essence Reaver as his third item.
This has kind of become the staple. We saw it first appear in the LPL and SMLZ, itemizing and prioritizing the Infinity Edge. Now such AD carries like Imp, Uzi, and Deft have started to follow suit, Mystic included. So just prioritizing that battle stat, getting a lot more power. There's a lot more 5v5s happening. Maps are getting unlocked earlier, so you need the ability to 5v5 earlier.
Here is that third Infernal Dragon. EDG already have 2 to augment their stats quite nicely. The third one could definitely be the nail in the coffin for team fights against Invictus Gaming. And they've picked that one up without any contest. Kid looking like he wanted to try and engage on towards Scout. Immediately teleport being burned by Mouse to get down here. The Shen's coming down as well. Big cannon barrage comes out. The invulnerability being popped by Taric. But it gets, or actually blocks, no damage coming out from EDG, and they're just looking to chase.
And this is a big issue with Taric's ultimate. It has to be used proactively. If it's used in reflex, it's often wasted. So that's a massive cooldown down for Invictus Gaming.
Immediately EDG look to try and push for more objective. Scout is a little bit low, but they don't have the Ash Arrow or the ultimates anymore. Rookie gets one shot by Scout, and they turn on the go button as Mouse is just chasing down it to tie with his red buff. Gets the parlay down, or misses the parlay, but will still slow down the Shen. Mako's here, will get the flay. The Shen has to flash away. EDG are just walking Invictus Gaming around the map.
But they don't have a creep wave here just yet, so they need to wait for the incoming wave.
And they're waiting as patiently as they can for EDG, which is not very much. They move back and forth between turret aggro to juggle that one as effectively as they can. Inhibitor turret in the mid lane will fall. Kid's actually going toe-to-toe against Mouse. There's the Stand United. Will Shen get there in time? The flash from Mouse is not able to help him get the kill, but he's got friends moving to the top lane. Baolan gets it with the stun. Clearlove is hunting for Kid, puts a ward down to get extra vision. The dodge field comes out for Tatai. He's going 1-on-3. We'll have Scout coming up here. There's a double shove onto Tatai. Baolan, the hook lands as well, but they just successfully disengaged to save Private Clearlove.
Oh, hold on. Jin
Not
ultimate.
quite yet. There's the ultimate coming out from the curtain core. Will land on towards... Was that a Scuttle Crab or was that the red buff there? I'm not quite sure what minion was standing in between that and the curtain core. Marge takes a lot of damage for that one, but still, EDG diffused that situation.
This is a perfect example of kind of the tone for this series so far. Now, EDG are in a position where they're pushing up mid. They've got creep waves behind them. They're streaming into Invictus Gaming's base. They could take down a Nexus Tower, possibly in the game. You've got, like, every member of IG top side here dealing with this cluster. And instead, everyone's like, save Captain Clearlove, pile in, run to the top side of the map, boys.
Protect our jungler. Protect his KDA pretty much, EDG right there.
Yep.
His Def actually has to run away. Marge not going to get the curtain call on towards Deft. One, he shoots the arrow and kills Kid.
Sniped.
Threads the needle. A scene out of Wanted right there coming out from Deft to pick up the kill.
Bend it like Beckham.
Pretty much. And that fight was so confusing, I thought there was a Scuttle Crab at red buff Frostgrin. I am not proud of that one, but it was there.
It's okay, Fish.
Meanwhile, EDG, they're still over 10,000 gold up ahead of Invictus Gaming, about 12,000 to be precise. Baron has now spawned, and they have 3 Infernal Drakes to complement the single Ocean Dragon they've picked up previously. And they're trying to control vision as effectively as possible against IG close towards this Baron pit. There's an arrow coming out, lands straight on top of Baolan. He gets popped like a balloon, and that could be the go button for EDG.
They still have their Smite available, but I think you are correct with Rek'Sai level 15 and Kid level 13, although
Mako
IG...
lands a hook onto Kid. There's the box, deals a lot of damage. Exhaust onto him. A single pebble is all Scouts needs to take him down, but Deft's actually going to fall in the backlines, get sniped off by the sniper himself. EG's still looking for the fight. Rookie was the target of a Deft setters, does not connect. They're still chasing. Flash forward for the double knock-up. The seismic shove onto the Shen. The Ninja is trying to run away, but he's not sneaky enough. Mouse finds that kill. Rookie is ghosting away from the terror from the Void, who is going to be able to tunnel under him. A good knockback comes out for Rookie, but now he's going the complete wrong way. Has to use the ultimate on top of Clearlove, but that's a tanky beast you have to go up against. Invulnerability is going to be able to keep Rookie alive. The Prey Seeker's not going to be enough for Oscar, and somehow they save him.
Playing with their food right now. Best way to put this game. EDG, they're having a bit of a giggle.
I think that sums it up perfectly. They are messing around at the moment with 12,000 gold, but they still have got these fights in their favor. They picked off Kid to start things off. They killed Tatai later. They did lose Def, and I think that was due to the curtain call.
You know, they need to be careful, like you said, though. You know, if you continue to give Invictus Gaming a foot in this, like, they thrive in chaos. Make the game messier, and IG will just pull you down to their level, and they'll beat you with experience.
Well, I would say insult to injury, but it was Kid that had just picked up the red buff that Clearlove was trying to take away. I mean, it's a consolation prize at this point as EDG pull the trigger onto Baron, take it down, and now have 14 or 13,000 gold as well as a Baron buff to push towards Invictus Gaming's base.
And they've got every single wave pushing into IG, so they have their pick of the litter about where they want to attack next.
Seems like mid lane is the first option that they're going for. That inhibitor was taken down previously. Top lane inhibitor turret should have taken a little bit of damage previously from Mouse, who was falling around on the top side of the map.
They want to take the top inhibitor, so it will secure them the upcoming dragon in 30 seconds.
Captive audience gets put down by Mars trying to clear out this wave, but that turret just gets obliterated by EDG. Inhibitor is going to be the next target. Scout actually waiting in the wings, trying to see if he can get a good Talia wall off. And this turret now going to take damage from EDG as they push on towards it. Clearlove has moved his way up as well. Bottom lane inhibitor is going to get crashed upon by minions as EDG just moved through Invictus Gaming's base. This is IG's house, and EDG are just not showing respect as they just take whatever structure comes in their path.
They kicked in the door, they made themselves comfortable in the living room, they ate all of the snacks, Fish. All of them.
They are the captors now, Frosker, as they look to try and push for that final inhibitor. Clearlove getting some damage down. Balan trying to do what he can. A wall's actually going to separate IG from their fountain. A barrel connects onto Rookie. Clearlove forces his flash away. Marge's ultimate going to get interrupted as well. Def going to take damage in the backlines, but he's able to deal with Kid before he can deal damage to their backline. A flash play comes out from Mako. Marge is trying to put on his best blue suede shoes, but a parlay from Gangplank is all it takes to take him down. EDG have got 2 picks. They're not stopping anytime soon. Def almost gets killed. Face of the mountain saves him, and Syndra will fall. Invictus Gaming are dropping like flies against EDG while pushing with 3 inhibitors down on towards the Nexus. And they will be able to secure their series and continue their undefeated run in the summer split of the LPL.
And they just break Invictus Gaming down by the knee. And you know what's even scarier, Fish? This isn't even their final form. This isn't even their star roster. They don't even have Pawn right now. That's just with Scout. And EDG think that they're strongest with Pawn, so it only gets worse for enemy teams.
And if you were tuning in somewhere between the first and second match, their Pawn unfortunately had to be emergency substituted out of game 1 as he was feeling a bit of back pain, I believe. Had a little bit of back injury heading into that match. So they lost all 3 bans in game 1. Used Scout. But EDG still looks so strong in both games they played against Invictus Gaming.
And really the difference of having those bans available and being able to force Rookie off of the Malzahar, that was night and day. Game 1, good clean start from EDG, good clean finish, kind of messy in the mid game as they were dealing with that Malzahar pick. Game 2, Malzahar's on the ban bench, and they just run Invictus Gaming over.
But you look at Invictus Gaming, Frosker, and it's still all about believing as they still have one final game to play in the LPL, and it's arguably their most important game against Newbie.
I'm actually surprised that you can read.
I didn't expect that one, Frosker. And I set you up very nicely to talk about this Newbie game that Invictus Gaming have coming up on Sunday.
You know, anytime someone just reads the back of the jersey, though, I'm like, really, Fish? No, but you are correct. The playoff dreams are still alive. Today meant nothing. It was just about the pride and the fun of the game. The LPL teams proved that they do that better than anyone. But IG, their playoff hopes, still alive. They just need to defeat Newbie, and it will be that final game on Sunday, I believe.
Yep, even though Invictus Gaming dropped their game here and moved down to 4-11 in the standings, Newbie, with one final game to play, are 5-10. If IG pick up a win there, they will both be 5-11, and I believe it is Invictus Gaming that has the match advantage at the moment.
So their head-to-head would be even because Newbie beat them the first time in a 2-1. So if they 2-0 them, they then have the superior head-to-head, but it goes down to their win record. And right now, Invictus Gaming have more wins than Newbie do. So it does help that even when you go down, at least you don't go down 0-2.
That's right. So for Newbie to secure that final playoff spot, which is the only playoff spot left to contend for besides the 3rd and 4th seed seeding in Group A, which is Vici is looking to try and fight for now. All newbie have to do is pick up a win, and all Invictus Gaming would have to do is pick up a win in their final match in the LPL. But still, that was a dominant game from EDG in that match. I mean, Invictus Gaming just got styled on by EDG.
Yeah, and that was the important thing. It's not necessarily how Invictus Gaming, perform here, but, how do they lose or how do EDG win? That's what you're looking for. EDG really didn't show their hands much in the fact that they didn't even play their starting roster. Of course, Pawn being substitute out there for Scout, but they played very standard EDG comp, so they didn't show anything that maybe they have hiding for the playoff run. And Invictus Gaming looked decent.
Well, let's check in with today's results first up, because we did have 2 best-of-3 series here. First up, it was Saint. They won a game against Snake, but it was still Snake that picked up the 2-1 victory.
And talk about night and day results. Game 2 was a completely different ball game for Snake.
It certainly was, but there was no drama in that last game of tonight, which was EDG picking up a 2-0 convincing victory against IG.
This is what we expect, though, is from that grudge match, EDG hardly ever lose.
We can take a look at the standings. Nothing much has changed. As EDG still 15-0, undefeated in the LPL at the moment. Snake now 10-5. Game Talent 6-9, Nubia 5-10, whereas Invictus Gaming are trying to keep their playoff dreams alive with that final match against Newbies. Saint, unfortunately, will be heading into promotion and relegations.
And all eyes are on the race between Newbie and Invictus Gaming and who will be that last team to scrape into the 4th place spot and go into the top 8 for playoffs.
Tomorrow we still have more LPL action as Vici chase for that 3rd place spot in their group with a game up against Team WE. OMG look to continue their impressive run against a revitalized LGD as IMA will take on the giants of that group, RNG.
And again, that will be the final day for Group B, so certainly want to tune in and see how the teams are going in, because that's the finish line. Regular season will be done for Group B tomorrow.
And unfortunately for OMG and LGD, their playoff dreams are gone here. But both of these teams have something in common, which is progressing to the later parts of the LPL Summer Split here. They've been looking really good in their last few games.
And it's kind of defining and figuring out the secret formula or the perfect roster for them. So in LGD, you've got the likes of Intruder taking over that jungle position and the return of Wayless, and they look so good. As an LGD fan, where has this roster been all my life? On the other side, OMG proving that their formula works, that they can continue to be the only all-Chinese team left in the region and show up and make a mark.
We can take a look at the MVP for that second match at EDG. Will be Clearlove, getting even more MVP performances, upping his KDAs. He has a 4-2-8 performance on Rek'Sai in the jungle.
Yeah, and we talked about how Clearlove really took after his old teammate in Wei Xiao, likes to get that slow push going for him, and how much Rek'Sai actually empowers that to be a real play on her with her cross-map ability.
This was a big team fight for, I believe, Invictus Gaming as well, where there was kills just traded back and forth. But the biggest thing in this fight, it was an 80 carry for a support and also the jungler for the mid laner. So from there, they just picked up dragon after a dragon. 3 Infernal Dragons and 10,000 gold. I think that's enough for EDG.
Clearlove's KDA is also still relatively untouched there, unscathed. And like you said, it's the dragon control and the jungle control that continues to put EDG head and shoulders above the rest of their LPL competition.
And they really played to their bottom lane as well. I mean, first game, it was just Deft and Mako styling on March and Baolan. Second game, they did the same thing, but they pulled Clearlove into the bottom lane just to help them out a bit more. And they got so far ahead. There was 20 CS up just 4 minutes into both games.
But that was so telegraphed. That's what really kills me here. It's this idea that you know it's EDG, it's Rek'Sai on blue side, they're going to push forward on the bottom side of the map, they're going to get Clearlove to sneak behind that Gromp and set up a killer gank, and that's exactly what happened. So I'm just waiting for EDG to get into playoffs and for an enemy team to say, no, I'm going to start on the bottom side of the map, I'm going to set up a trap, and I'm going to catch you being telegraphed.
When we take a look at the top lane for EDG, we have Mouse playing 2 games on Gangplank here today. He's been playing quite a few Gangplank games in his recent matches for EDG. There were a lot of questions about Mouse coming in for Koro when we started the summer split of the LPL. He has answered a tremendous amount of those questions. It's really been one of those big pillars for EDG as they continue their dominant run in the LPL.
I mean, he's really kind of come into his Koro position. Like you said, he has that AoE ability. The Gangplank is being perma-banned, so he's making a dent in the draft phase, and his individual 1v1 mechanics have also stepped up, and it's not light competition in LPL's top laners.
And with that, EDG pick up the 2-0 victory over Invictus Gaming's, but Invictus Gaming's playoff dreams are still alive. We still have 2 more days of regular season LPL action. That will be taking place tomorrow as well as on Sunday. But that's all from us here tonight. On behalf of myself, Frostkern, as well as our entire production and casting team, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.